Okay, guys, welcome back. All right, so today we're going to be working on diagnosing if your hose is, if there's a problem with the electricity like going through the hose, if there's a continuity problem, and we're going to figure out how to do that. All right, so now this works for someone who owns, let's say, an Electrolux, Kenmore, a central vacuum unit, because sometimes the problem is the brush motor. You know, sometimes the brush motor itself is the problem. And so we've had people who replace the nozzle, the brush motor nozzle, and there's still not a problem. There are two types of connections that's made when it comes to vacuums, okay? Canister vacuums, right? One, the electricity runs through the cord, through the hose, I'm sorry, right? And then it's connected in here. You have your on and off switch, okay? And then you have your connectors here, and you plug it into the wand. There's probably a second wand, and then it goes down to the power nozzle, and that's how it receives its power, okay? Now others, the nozzle itself has a long cord that will connect to a section here, reciprocal kind of section here, and it will plug it in. And that's how it receives its electricity. So it's not through the wand itself, it's through the cord. So, okay, I had to explain all of that to say there are two ways to diagnose this thing, okay? But both ways are still really the same. You want to make sure that the problem isn't this on and off switch. You want to make sure also the problem isn't the actual hose itself, because the problem could be the hose. The hose could have a break in it, okay? So the switch is good, right? The nozzle is good, right? But it's just not receiving electricity from the motor through the hose so everything else can do its job, all right? So, yes, there's a couple of different, reasons. Let's assume in this particular case, because I do have another video of how to eliminate the wand being the problem, how to figure out if the motor is a problem. So check the video, check the playlist, and you'll be able to find one of those videos. I believe it's under the Kenmore. I was talking about a Kenmore canister, okay? But it's the same premise. In this particular case, what we're going to do is going to show you how to diagnose whether this hose itself, because you notice this has some duct tape on it, okay? So that's good enough for me to kind of feel that maybe it's possible that there's a sever in this hose. The duct tape could also just be the fabric tore, and they don't want dust to fly out of the vacuum. So still, let's start with this hose. Okay. Okay. So now in this particular situation, we figured out that the nozzle isn't the problem, the wands isn't the problem, the motor turns on. Just assuming you have an Electrolux or an Electrolux central vac of sorts. We're just going to kind of go with Electrolux for this particular case right now. Okay, so let's say all those things are checking out, right? Okay, so now we want to make sure, this is specifically, if you just want to make sure that the electricity is going from this here, this is what the part that connects to the motor. All right, yeah, and you have your positive and negatives connectors here, if you notice these two things here. And we just want to make sure that we have a continuous flow of electricity going through this hose towards the end of the hose, okay? So what we're going to do first is we want to take off these little tabs here, all right? And then we're going to take the screws out. Now the screws under these tabs are a T10 torque screw, okay? So here's the first part. Get something kind of sharp or flat, okay? I'm just using this little blade here. Just be careful if you do use a blade, all right? Oop. Okay, one of those things fell off. All right, so let's just put this to the side. And we're going to take this off. Okay. All right. Now, this alone is not going to allow you to get access to this. So what you're going to have to do is, for the Electrolux anyway, we need to remove this pin here, okay? Now, it's not difficult. You can probably use a flathead screwdriver or something, but we could probably start by pushing this section back right here, and this will just pop right out. Okay, this little clip, so don't lose this. All right, and then we need to release this tab because there's a little kind of this little knob right here. This is kind of holding this in. Okay, so this knob would actually go into this section right here. See that? Okay, anyway. All right, so let me just make sure we don't lose any parts. All right, so we'll deal with this in a second, but right now we just want to establish if our hose has a continuous flow of electricity, okay? So we have a neutral wire, which will correspond with one of these, and then we have a live that will correspond with one of these, okay? So then we need to figure out. So get your multimeter. Now these multimeters you can get at Lowe's or Amazon or Home Depot or something, local hardware store. They range anywhere from, you know, $20-something all the way up to, you know, hundreds of dollars, depending on the sophistication of what you're looking for. This is a very simple one. I'm just going to turn this to 200 ohms here, down at the bottom here. So it's off. And I'm going to turn it all the way down to this section here to 200, all right? And this is really just to see if we have a continuity. So I guess I'll leave this here so you can see the numbers. And what we're looking for to see if one of these correspond with this. So I'm going to put one in here. And, oh, there we go. So this is live, all right? So we have good energy here, okay? So now, if you notice, if I do it to this, there's no reading. You don't see a reading here, okay? That means I have to turn it on the other side, make contact with this, and then see if I have a good reading here. And there, and we do, okay? So this is okay. All right, so let's move this out the way. So even though we have tape, this tape obviously is just for cosmetic. Okay, let's take this off. Okay. So look at that. This is the wiring that may have gotten exposed, but it's still in this plastic coating, you know. So really what happened to this hose is that the cosmetic part, when I say cosmetic, what I mean is the fabric got torn, but the electricity is still flowing. So this hose is okay, all right? Let's move this out the way. All right, so let's move on to the power switch here. Okay, all right, move these out the way. So we could do the same thing. So we have an on and off switch. Right now it's on off. So if I use the same multimeter, I should be able to tell if I have a connection here, right? So we want to see if the switch is okay. So right now it's off, so I don't have a reading, okay? Because it's off. So let's turn it on. Now we connected the current. It should be able to be a flow, so we should have some numbers here. Okay. There we go. So we have some numbers. There we go. Okay. So the on and off switch itself is okay. This is fine. Okay. Well, let's see if we have connection from here to here. Okay. Let's see if this works, because we should be able to stick this inside here. It should be there. And then we also do the other connector here. Let's see if we have, yep, this is okay. So this line is fine, all right? We do the same for the other one. Okay? Now the other one is a neutral, right? It goes from here to there. So we can put one here. Okay, put one here. Let's see if we can get it, right? And we can stick the other one. See, we have numbers. There we go. We have reading here. There we go. Good. So this is fine. All right, guys. So really, what we were trying to establish, we want to eliminate certain things from being the issue, the problem. Okay. So this particular setup is okay. Okay. Now we can still do. We still have like there's still another setup that still needs to be. We have these connectors in here. Okay. Not sure if you can see it, but it's right in here. So we can test these, right? We can see if this and this, yep, there we go. Those two are okay. And then we do the other one. See if this one and that one, yep, those are okay. So this entire head checks out, this pistol grip. The entire pistol grip test out, the hose test out. So that means that's not the problem. So we can confidently say this is not the issue that will cause the power not to reach the bottom. Okay. Now, in the case of a central vacuum unit, we have a circuit board. Okay, PC board here that that would also have an effect. Okay, so if you look at the side of your central vacuum, you're gonna see this little outlet setup here. Okay, now this you have a reset switch. If you have a power issue, but really what's happening now? This is the low voltage wire that connects to your hose, and this is what gives the signal to the power nozzle to turn on. Okay. So even though it's plugged into the wall, like in this particular case, let me show you. Okay, so this setup, this is a central vacuum canister hose. So this is the electricity, see that? That will send its own signal to the actual brush motor. But this is not sending the on and off signal to the brush motor, okay? Because if that's the case, the moment you plug this in, the brush motor would turn on, and you wouldn't have a way of turning it off unless you unplug this. So this is really just to get electricity down there, but you still need a signal to say turn on and turn off, and that's where this comes in. Okay? That's where this section comes in. Right? So right now it's off. This is for straight suction, no nozzle. And this is for suction and power nozzle. Okay, so this guy is sending the signal to the power nozzle to turn on. Okay, all right, so we have to figure out if this guy is working. All right, okay, especially if you already figured out that the power nozzle is okay. You use different tools to figure out if you have electricity running down to the head. So you figured out that that's okay. There is the main electricity from the wall, which is this guy here. This electricity is running down to the head, but the head is still not turning on. So is it this? Okay, electricity running from the wall down here, or is it this? And in some cases, it's this. All right, and that's when you probably, you could probably do it yourself, or you probably will call someone in and have them change this out. Okay, all right. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So now, if you notice, there's some screws in here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 screws. Let's dive in. Let's see what we can learn about this guy here. Okay. Let's see what we can learn about this guy. What kind of screws are we? These Phillips? Yep, they are. All right, so I'll use my trusty drill bit here. Okay, all these are the same size except for this one in this section here, okay? Have a flat head. Just kind of pop the separation. Okay, now take a look at this. So inside of one of these heads, this is what you're looking at. All right, let me take this off. Here, over here. Okay, see what you're looking at here? 1, 2, 3, 4 connectors. Okay. So now these guys connect to these. They're talking to the on and off switch. The on and off switch is talking to this setup here, and this setup is connecting to the nozzle on the floor. Okay. So all of this is a part of the problem. If, you know, if the nozzle is fine, you know, then we have to start here, because eventually we're going to make our way here. But before we get to this setup here, we want to make sure that the hose is not the problem. Okay? Hey guys. So for this section, we want to see if this guy is doing his job, right? Okay, so it's a little patience, and you know, it takes a little time, but it's not a big deal. Let me show you. Let me show you why. All right. So the original hose was kind of set up like this, right? You see how it's set up pretty much like that. So all the contacts are touching. Okay. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 2 of these are the low voltage wires. I'm not sure which 2. We're going to figure it out. And 2 are from the wall, the plug-in on the wall. Okay. So that's like let's keep that in mind. Let me kind of bring this back. Okay. So you have the live and neutral from the wall, right? Yep. And the plug-in. I think I have a makeshift plug-in I did here, just so you guys can see. But the plug-in I'm talking about is coming from here. The low voltage wire coming from this setup. All right, and let me kind of give you a visual of what I'm talking about. Okay, let me. All right, I'll let this guy rest for a second. Hold on, I'll give you a visual. All right. So imagine this is the wall in the house, okay, this setup. And imagine this is the wiring that's running throughout the entire house, okay. Eventually, 100, 200 feet of wiring or whatever, this will make its way over to here, to your central vacuum unit that has this little piece sticking out the side. So you're going to eventually have to put one here, and eventually have to put one here. Okay, like this. It's going to be set up like this. But just imagine that you have a big central vacuum unit, and then you have this sticking out the side. All right. So that's 1, 2, right? Okay, great. Okay. So the moment you plug it in here, in your wall in your house, you just made a connection between these 2. Okay. You made a connection. Also, the moment you plug this in, now you're bringing a whole nother, you know, power source coming into the nozzle. So that's 4 power sources here. 1, 2, 3, well, 2, but you know what I mean. And then you connect it to here. Okay. So what we can do with our multimeter, we can figure out if these guys are doing their job. So we can test them all right? Because we don't know which is which right now, right? So let's put the multimeter in the middle, and I'm going to get back to this guy. We also want to eliminate this guy as the problem, right? So let's give it a try, okay? In this particular case, we have the cord. We'll start here. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so we're going to figure out which one of these correspond with this section here. One, hold on here. Nope. Nope. Yep, here we go. Right here. So this guy is this guy, right? So let's switch it up. Okay, good. So look like the two wall power unit is here and here. Okay? So let's see if these two guys connect with these two guys over here, okay? Now, if you can make your way into the garage and get this whole unit, get the hose, because the central vacuum hoses are very long. They're like 50 feet long, you know. If you can get it to the garage, you can literally take this hose apart, like I just did over here, okay? And then, now we know that we're testing the top two, we can do this, see if that's it. And the other one, oh, I can't reach the other one. Hold on, let's just do this one first. Okay, so we know this one has numbers, right? We have that set up. There we go. And then the other one, I would have to, because I have a plastic connector over here. So let me stick it in here, and we match this up. Okay, so the hose and the wiring, okay, the hose isn't the problem. See that? So we just eliminated the hose as the source of the problem. Okay? All together. See that? So now let's try this. Let's see if the power switch is the problem, right? So let's take this out for a second. Let's just kind of lift this out of here. And what you do, take pictures along the way so you can see what what goes where, so you're not lost. All right. So here we go. Let's give this a try. It's a little tedious, but you know what? If you're doing it for yourself at home, whatever, you want to make sure. Okay. So let's give it a shot. All right. So this corresponds to this. So let's see if these two guys are talking. Let's see if they're communicating. Okay. All right. And this one's on the end. Okay. Let's look at this. Look at the numbers and. Got it. There we go. There we go. All right. Good. Now we're going to do this one, and then this one. There we go. We're good there. All right. Then we're going to do this one. This one here. Let's see if we have numbers. Yep, we got numbers here. Good. Then the next one is going to be This is a little tricky, but let's get it done. We're going to do this. All right, let's touch that. And this. Okay, we're good. And then we need to do this. And this. Make sure I got the right one here. Oh, no, I don't. It's the third one. It's the third one down the road. There we go. So this power switch is doing its job. So in this case, we figured out that in this particular case, we figured out that the head is okay. We figured out that the nozzle pistol grip section is okay. We figured out that the hose is okay. Everything, all of those things are working. The only thing left is replacing the circuit board. Okay? Because if your motor turns on, if the main motor in the unit turns on, but your nozzle is not getting any power at all, then the next step is then, after all of this troubleshooting, is to replace the circuit board. Okay, this little section here. Or try to reset and see if the reset, see if that works. But it's most likely we need to replace this. Okay, guys? Okay, folks, so I hope that helped you solve your problem. I know it's a little tedious, walking through this whole thing, but it's worth it. All right, if you have one of these little things here, it can help in a whole lot of your little problems. And there's a lot of great YouTube tutorials online of how to read these and how to use them properly. You don't need a whole big certificate to figure this one out, okay? But hopefully you can use these tools to help diagnose your problem. And if you have any more issues, please leave them in the comments. Please share. Please like. Okay, help our channel grow. And then we'll talk to you next time with a new video. Okay. All right.